Hello, my name is Alexandra Vieira and I'm a Portuguese archaeologist. I'd like to thank the organization of the conference, particularly Celeste Ray, for the possibility of sending a recorded presentation. This work focused on the healing, holy, sacred waters in Portugal, particularly about the fountains. I'd like to start by explaining that the word fountain, font in Portuguese, has several meanings. It can be a water source or the end of a water pipe for public supply. So the point where the water emerges is also called a water hole, a mine, a fount, fountain, sprout, spring, or water spring. I don't use the word well because for us a well is a deep pit open in the ground for water exploration, a hole or a structure intended to accumulate water. Therefore, the main purpose of this presentation is to analyze a set of data related to the sacred waters in Portugal, namely in the north of the country, from a macro and broad perspective. Although I carry out a preliminary analysis for the whole country, and there are significant examples from north to the south, I focus my attention on the north of Portugal, namely in Minho and Trás-os-Montes and Alto Douro regions. To develop this work, it was necessary to analyze books, chorographies, and scientific journals from the 17th century to the present. I would like to emphasize the work of Abad Vassal with his historical archaeological memoirs of the district of Bragança. But there are a lot of other resources that could be analyzed. For this theme, we highlight the Aquilegia Medicinal, a book from the 17th century. But in this 21st century, a new project called the New Aquilegio has been developed by the University of Lisbon. There are several online cultural heritage national databases, but I decided to show you the one that is dedicated to the inventory of legends, where we can find countless reference to holy waters, holy founts, and their miracles, for example. There are several natural springs spread across the country that are considered sacred due to their therapeutic virtues. But according to Abad Vassal, the people distinguish perfectly between scientifically thermal or medicinal waters, hot springs, for example, from waters known as so-called hot holy springs with supernatural or supposed healing effects. So I'm going to focus specifically in the so-called holy springs, holy waters, sacred waters, and the fountains of the Angarenhos. The Angarenho is a type of ricket and weakness that affects infants and children under the age of 5 who are unable to walk because they cannot hold on to their legs. Lots of fountains are called Fonte Angarenho according to the village inhabitants because its water heals children who are engarenhados, that is, children who are stunned or undersized. Other words, such as Angarenho, Enquilhado, Caído, have the same meaning. The devotion and pilgrimage to Our Lady of Necessidades in Angarenho is quite ancient. This hermitage is located in the middle of the mountains near the village of Castelões. Behind the chapel, there is a shell-shaped rock with water that never dries, and to which children and adults suffering from atrophy must of their limbs come to become cured from the diseases. They must comply with an ancient ritual which consists on the following. Once they arrive at the location, all the patient's clothes must be removed, 9 levels of water from the rock must be poured onto their heads, and the last one must be thrown behind their backs. They should fall nine times against the lady's altar, put on a different and dry outfit, and return home by another route, leaving the clothes they were wearing left behind. In the same place, there is also a fountain with the image of Santiago de Compostela. In the municipality of Carreira de Anciães, there are several fountains called Fontes dos Angarenhos, namely in Parambos, Vieita, and Beira Grande. The ritual bath must comply with the following ritual. One woman takes the child, and another brings the child home. And whenever possible, these 2 women should have the name of Mary. They all must come and go silently. The child is immersed completely, one of them supporting him on by the feet and the other by the head at the same time. letting the clothes go into the water and then putting on another set of dry clothes. The fonte dos engarinhados em frechas is logically a fonte de mergulho, a diving fountain. By other words, the bucket would be submerged into the water to take it off. It has a date inscribed on the closure stone, 5088, which is uncommon in this type of construction. It is located near the chapel of Senhora do Aviso. In 1758, in the Memórias Paroquiais, it was mentioned that beneath the chapel of Nossa Senhora do Aviso, there is a fountain with miraculous waters, and some people take their children who are engarinhadas, and they always get better. The ritual is similar to the previous explanations, but here, while the child was dipped 9 times, people prayed, "Engarenho go from here, may this water follow you, in praise of God and the Virgin Mary, and our Father and an Haile Mary." Another notable spring is Nossa Senhora da Orava, located in São Vicente da Beira in the center of Portugal. The fountain is located at the back of the church, and the river runs on the left side of the building. Near the Hermitage, we know that at the beginning of the 18th century, there was a fountain whose water many devotees used to wash themselves, as they attributed therapeutic properties. This healing practice was still done in 1966, and we can see at the back of the chapel there is a fountain that they call miraculous, and many people still go there to bathe. The Capella of San João Batista was also built over a diving fountain with waters considered miraculous. The current building must have been renovated in the 18th century. Under the altar emerges a spring that gives origin to the Fonte Santa next to the chapel. The fountain, possibly a 16th century construction, is entirely made of granite with a patio and benches around it for people to sit. The water from the spring is not good to drink, as it does not have a good taste, but it is good for curing skin diseases. It is said that in old times many pilgrims passed through here, as this place was integrated into the route of Santiago de Compostela. Therefore, as the pilgrims arrived with sore feet, they went to wash them in the holy fountain. They used this place not only to cure wounds, but also to rest. Well, there are many other holy fountains, but I had to choose just a few examples. I'd like to highlight the idea that in some cases the existence of these holy waters led to the constructions of fountains and churches, transforming a sacred place into a Christian place, probably in a process of Christianization. It is important not to forget that there are still traces of the so-called pagan cults connected to the waters, the rivers, and the fountains. We have proofs that these beliefs still existed in the 6th century of the Christian era, as shown by the text of Saint Martin, the Bishop of Doom, Braga, Portugal, and we know that they have survived till the present days. While studying these fountain springs, I was always thinking, why are these waters sacred or holy? Well, I would say that these waters and the structure built to help collect them might be connected with legends and mythological entities or deities like the Moorish, with saints and miracles, with the existence of archaeological remains or archaeological sites. For example, we have Roman sanctuaries, the use of medieval rock graves, or the existence of rock art in some stones used in the construction of those fountains. But we also link them to the traditional practice and beliefs of St. John's Eve. Well, this medieval fountain, diving fountain, probably from the 13th century, is related to the legend of a Moor. It is located outside the wall of the medieval castle of Lumão. An old lady was interviewed, and she said that she heard the enchanted Moorish woman spinning, and she was a mysterious knight, and that a mysterious knight passed by late night talking to the Moura. This fountain is located near the church of San Gualter. It has 3 spouts in the shape of dolphins. The fountain of San Gualter, today better known as Fonte Santa, started to become famous due to the countless sick people who were cured by bathing in these waters, whose virtues allow the cure of engarenhados and crippled people. Here we also have the tradition to bath children and leave their skirts in the water on St. John's Eve at midnight. According to the legend, the fountain next to the church of Santo Apollinari, called Fonte by local people, communicates with the Douro River, which is located about 3 kilometers away. And they say that the water in the fountain is clear if the river runs clear, but the water in the fountain becomes cloudy when the Douro is cloudy. Some archaeologists believe in the existence in this area of Prazeres in Lisboa of a pre-Roman sanctuary dedicated to Navia, an aquatic divinity of prophylactic nature. It survived through times and there is still a remnant of the Fonte Santa there today, a place object of special popular devotion documented since the 17th century, later transformed into a fountain into the 19th century. Pontuilo is a well-known archaeological Roman sanctuary. This monument is located outside the urban perimeter of the Roman city of Braga Augusta, with several epigraphic inscriptions, which allow in particular to link it to the cult of a local deity named Tongo Naviago, which appears associated with the goddess Navia. Another hypothesis is that sometimes these fountains reuse ancient archaeological remains or materials. So local people noted once in old times something was built there and that could help to create the idea of that place being sacred. In this font of St. Vicente Raia, a medieval rock grave was added to the left side of the font. In the Fonte das Casas Novas, I believe the local people reuse lots of materials from archaeological sites or from the old village, just looking at the pictures. Coleste, it is a general belief that the water of the rivers and the fountains, and also the sea, of course, is blessed on the morning of St. John's, well, 24th of June, and that it produces beneficial and curative effects on many diseases and serves as antidotes to witchcraft. People believe that the water sleeps every night, but on St. John's Eve it is blessed and has the power to cure diseases, especially skin diseases. This practice, which must be carried out outdoors, should happen between midnight and sunrise. Well, in just a few minutes, I've tried to summarize some traditional beliefs and practices linked to the cult of the holy waters in Portugal. It was only possible to superficially address some aspects of this absolutely fascinating subject. During the investigation process, there was something that stood out: the fragile nature of these structures, their state of abandonment, the lack of research work. Fortunately, the advances in medicine in the last 50 years have meant that many of these diseases have practically disappeared. But with that, the need to preserve and maintain these practices and these fountains disappeared. It is up to us, scholars and researchers, who study this precious cultural material and material heritage, to fight for the safeguard and preservation of our collective and social memory about the holy waters. Thank you for your attention.